Well, we're back from Myrtle Beach. We're going to talk about the last couple of days we spent there, but that's not going to be the entirety of this episode. We are going to talk about a couple of new irons that I received. We're going to talk about how Peter is not the only guy that got a hole in one, and some things that we saw while we were at Myrtle Beach and happened at McGolf. Look at all that on next on What's on My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here, and this is What's in My Drawers in the Golf Shop. Why? Because old golf club fitters and makers and repairers are tremendous pack rats, and so am I. And so this is where we talk about golf club repairs, reviews, and fittings, all so your scores can go low. If you would, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom. That way you get more of this information when I drop other videos as well. Okay? As well. One other thing is we started another YouTube channel called Pars and Pours. It's whiskey and golf. It's very golf centric. Right now we are talking about the Ryder Cup, and it's the Ryder Cup with an E, not without. And we're into the final 3 holes, so it might be interesting to see who wins. All righty, so let's get started. And I know more than start, and my nose starts to itch. All right. So last time when we talked with you, I had Bob with me, and we had a great time. The weather could not have been better. All right. And normally when we go down to Myrtle Beach, you either need to live in an igloo to survive being out there just to redo it, or you're dodging raindrops because it's just this downpour. Not the case. Not the case whatsoever. We had great weather, started in the 70s, ended in the 80s. It was perfect. Jumped in the pool, got cooled off, got warmed up with the hot tub, and then cooled off again. It was absolutely outstanding. The golf was, well, I'll say good. Golf was good. We'll go from there. A couple of things. I brought a few trinkets home. We went to the dye course. That was one of the first ones where Bob, Peter, and I, and they had a lady there that was taking pictures, and so we got a plaque to commemorate it. So that was pretty cool. Good picture too. So we like that, and I also came home with a pin flag. A pin flag, the Dye Club, since he was the designer for that particular golf course. That's going to go up here. There's a whole bunch of pin flags up there. I wonder if you can see it. Hold on a second. I'll get you to. Nope, this thing's going to keep looking at me one way or another. Okay. So anyway, just trust me, it's above me right here. So that was fun. And so the last couple of courses. So we played the Barefoot Dye, Barefoot Love, and then we played the World Tour where Peter got his hole in one. And then Peter had work to do, and Bob and I went off and we played Oyster Bay and Glendernach, and they were both very in the northern area. In fact, one was in North Carolina. I think Glendernach is probably feet. You can measure it in feet from the North Carolina border. Anyway, the Oyster Bay, we were talking with some of the locals, wasn't getting a lot of play because the bridge was out. Well, bridge was in when we went there. It was brand spanking new. And got across. Now, everybody that we talked to said, hey, watch out for the alligators. And they said they're everywhere, particularly on hole 3 and 4. Well, hole 3 and 4 just happened to be surrounded by water. And sure enough, as we come around this corner, we run up on a 6 to 8 footer right there. And I'm like, oh, my God, here we go. And the gator's just there sunning himself, and he's got his eyes closed. He hears us coming. Gives us this one wink, oh, it's a bunch of you guys, and goes right back to sleep. As we pass him, Bob goes, hey, hold on, let me get out and take a picture. As I say, the famous last words of a golfer wanting to take a picture of an alligator. And but he got out and got a couple pictures of him, and then we went to go play. Ended up playing with a couple of guys that were in the Air Force. And I didn't get to crack one Air Force joke on them. But they were a good bunch of guys. They're a really good bunch of guys. We ended up having a great time. Oyster Bay was really in pretty good shape. There was everything. The greens held, did everything they were supposed to. In fact, I think they actually played the slowest of all the greens that we played. But it was extraordinarily nice. It took you around and had you going in all kinds of different directions. And so that was very, very cool. We enjoyed that one. The last one was Glendernach, and let's see, I've got a few. I believe that's Oyster Bay right there. It's just straight away, but you see all the trees and you see all the water. Is basically like that everywhere. All righty, so. But Glendernach, I just picked out a few. I believe this might be one. No, that was Oyster Bay right there. Lots of holes or lots of sand, that kind of stuff. But in Glendernach, there's another picture of the same. Here we go. This was hole number 9. 9 and 18 face each other. They're on this intercoastal waterway, and it was just like this. You would think Glendernach, with a Scottish name, would have this Scottish or Linksish kind of vibe to it, and no. In fact, it was probably the only one that didn't. Of all of them, is surrounded by trees, all kinds of foliage, water in certain places, grassy hazards in others, and of course a little bit of sand. This one right here is a par 4, and you had to clear that junk on the right, and then it was a nice little chip up onto the green, and that's how that one rolled. I thought I had another one. Apparently I don't. But again, this course was in very, very fine shape. I think it was just because of the undulation and the turns and not knowing where to go was probably the most difficult, because you didn't have everything in front of you. Most likely when you had the barefoot courses, you had the international courses, you had all those courses where a lot of all that golf was in front of you. And in this particular instance, it wasn't. There was a lot of blind turns. And one of those things that Bob and I were always talking, that if a guy came back and played it again, he could probably drop about three strokes aside easy, just because of knowing where to put it. All righty, so that was the golf. I will say the golf was pretty decent in that it was. The wheels did not come off of the golf game like they traditionally do, and.
Charlie says you're fuzzy. Do you feel it's fuzzy?
Fuzzy on what?
Your head and your hat.
My head and my hat.
I thought it was the window.
Might be. Lower that down just a little bit. That'll probably do it. We're doing a little bit of techno thing thanks to Charlie. No, no, down one. Down. Yeah, that's lowering it. There we go. Keep going. There we go. Nope. Oh, it changed the complexion. Hopefully that's it. And you're going to see some kind of blown out on my left, that way. But it should be okay now. So anyway, where was I? All right. So anyway, we got done with the golf. Oh, the golf, the wheels. Normally when I go on these golf vacations, I'm guaranteed of one day of absolute hell where my golf game disappears completely and I'm unable to be able to get anything done. Huh? Special day. That special day. All right. I think the peanut gallery is leaving now. He didn't sit in here with me anymore. Anyway, did I say that? No, I didn't say that. Anyway, oh, did you? It's on film now. Damn. Anyway, I was pretty. It wasn't outstanding golf, but it was golf to get me around. Shot didn't go over 90 on any of them, but I didn't get under 80 either. But it was had some good ball striking, had some good putts, and all around there was just these sparks of brilliance in there, followed by the the despair of hitting a really good shot and then following it up with a really poor one. I don't know. It was golf in general, but when I go out there, my goal is to just stay within a couple of shots of Bob when it's all there, and I accomplished that. So to me, I think it was successful. All the golf courses were good. Both the Barefoot was good. The World Tour was really nice. Oyster Bay was really nice, and so was Glendernach. So I can't recommend any of them enough, particularly if you're in the North Myrtle Beach area. And if you could get in there, that'd be great. So what else happened while we were there? Well, a couple of things. We went on, in one of these trips, we always have what we call it a girls' night out for the girls. So they pick out places they want to go. So the one place that they really wanted to go was a dolphin cruise. Whoop, that's not a dolphin, that's a damn shark. But you see the boat that's behind it, that was the ship or the boat that we took, and we actually went out onto the ocean to go find dolphins. And what they do is they get a shrimping boat out there because dolphins love the shrimp, and we get to follow them. And although that's not a dolphin, that is a seagull. That's not a seagull. Yeah, it is. And but they were out there, and we got to see quite a few. It was very, very cool to get out there. And the weather was very nice. It was just a really nice day. Finished it at Angus Steakhouse. They did an average job. They had some new staff, and they were all trying. But we went to Chuck's before, and Chuck's blew it out of the water. So if you're out there in Myrtle Beach and you see something about Chuck's is the way to go. All right, another place we went, there's a Christmas castle or a Christmas store there. Of course, we had to go there. And I took a few pictures just in that. Ended up coming home with a Santa in a golf cart. It was a Fabergé model. It was about this big. So you'll probably see that in the coming months. And last but not least, well, no, there's a couple of things. Of course, while I'm down there, we got one more thing. So on the other idea that Pete's not the only guy to get a hole in one. We went out, and the girls I challenged them to some putt-putt. And there it is, Mutiny Bay. We're standing there. This is the beginning of Mutiny Bay. There's with the waterfall in the background. We got to go around and we played. There's two courses, and we played Port Royal. And so that was there was two in Port Royal, and there was another name. It was another city town. Anyway, we played that. So as it was a hole-in-one fest. So as we get going, Robin, she got her hole-in-one, so that was cool. Penny, she got a hole-in-one. That was cool. And then in here somewhere, I didn't bring in the picture. I got this one instead. Anyway, Penny got 2 holes in one, and I ended up with 3. So that was all good. Now, that's cool. You thought, oh, man, we must have really, really wiped it up. Well, we did very well. However, Bob, being Mr. Consistent, putting with one hand, 2-putted just about everything and beat Penny and I by 2 strokes. So even with holes in one, that's because he was shooting 2s and I shot a couple of 4s out there. So it is what it was. So it was a good time. And we finished it off with, I found a distillery. And there it is. It was at 1233. So if you guys ever get down there, 1233 is a very, very nice place. It is a very small. It's a little micro distillery, but the folks do a really good job there. The product is very nice, and they're extraordinarily friendly. And last but not least, and I couldn't let this one slide, we found a liquor store, and it was called Bigfoot Spirits, and it got my attention for several days. And the reason why is because Bob is a big Bigfoot guy, and we got him a golf shirt that has Bigfoots all over it. And when we saw this Bigfoot, we had to stop. Well, what we didn't know from the street was the folks that own this place are monster golfers. They love golf. So this is the very first thing you run into when you go into the store. There's Bigfoot, and he's carrying him a Strixon bag. Very, very cool. And there's an outline on the door of Bigfoot holding a golf club, leaning on a golf club. And then you hit this. I just want to golf and drink bourbon. So that was pretty cool. Wanted to give you guys, they're a budding store, a very, very new store. So if you find yourself down in North Myrtle Beach, find Bigfoot Spirits, and you'll see a very, very fine selection. Last thing on the drinking front, and then we'll move on. At the 1233, they do have a sense of humor. They had some metal signs, and this is one of my favorite. I'll let you read it while I get a sip. Drinking can cause memory loss, or even worse, memory loss. So not bad. So that was the end. That was the basis of the story. And we got back, and here's the part of McGolf. We got back, and came home to a new garage. Just like that. New garage. There's the inside of it. You can see it had a bit of a water leak, but that's all taken care of, and with a side door on it. So I have not parked a car in a garage in over 30 plus years. So this is the first time I'm doing it. So in fact, today was the very first time I parked the truck in the garage, where yesterday the burb got put in there. So it's a new feeling. There's a lot of room in there. Every time I go in to put the car in there, I feel like I'm getting squeezed, but it is what it is. All right, so keep going. So we did all that stuff. Now we did do, and I did not get the pictures. There is a video that's coming out about a Mura build that I'm doing. Let's see if I can find it. Nope, that's not there. There we go. I know I'm going to find it. Here we go. Let me see if I can bring it up here, because we got a lot to cover. We'll get those in here in a minute. But the video will be a build of these particular clubs. So while these are downloading, new clubs. Look at that bad boy. Remember when I showed you the 150s that came out? These are the Apex 150s. If you notice, this is left-handed, and if you notice, it's bonded. They didn't have a lefty hand. They did not have a lefty for the fitting cart. So they sent me a couple. They asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted one of each. So now I've got a Denali. There it is. And it is a 75-gram stiff flex. And then the other one that I got, which is the one I've been kind of hitting on. There's another one. And this one is the Dynamic Gold Mid 90. And let's see if I can show you where I've been hitting. So I've been practicing with this. I'm going to do a review on it. And I've actually been finding the middle of the golf club, which is absolutely crazy. So I've not, I haven't put it on the monitor yet, but we're going to see. I fully expect it's going to be shorter than my AI 300 because they're a little bit stronger, but these things feel really solid. And we'll leave it at that. Another thing that we got in were these guys, the new Opus SPs. Okay, the Opus SP for the spin control. So what they've got there is the SP is spin pocket, and that's what it's all about. And they've got, it's a two-piece construction to move the CG around to make it just where they want it. They updated the face, and they say they got a tour validated profile, and then they brought back the X grind. So I know you're not going to be able to see too much of that because of there, but there you go, TCXSW. And if you see where the green is, that's the relief part of it on the T, on the C, on the X, and on the S. The W, that's just the whole wide sole. So they've got a lot going on. Right now, the only thing I know in availability is they have a black coated and then the chrome that I just showed you. And the shaft of choice this time around is a Dynamic Gold S200 and the Recoiled Dart HDC. So it's a 50 and a 60 gram in the wedge, meaning normal and probably a ladies deal, mid torque. And then of course, we all know about, and it's a standard Dynamic Gold, not a Dynamic Gold mid in the 200, which means it's probably an 8 iron that they tried to make a spinner out of. We'll see. But I do like the shape. Put this back. I do like the shape. It's a little more, when they say tour inspired or traditional, I would have to say that's true. There we go. I think it looks a lot like a traditional wedge. This is the standard grind. And if you see the light reflecting off of it, it's not the leading edge is not scalloped like it was before, where it had the scallop in the front. The leading edge is now rounded. I'll keep it back here. The leading edge here is rounded now. We call it a killed leading edge. Has a small radius going this way, but this way it's not knife edged. And it has a very, very thin top line. So it's not a bad looking club. And there's a variety of bounces. Now they're not all in one thing, I'll tell you that. To kind of give you an idea, in the sand wedge, the S is 5610, the W is 5614, the X is the X, which has, I think that's going to be quite the popular little one, is 5612. And then that's it. And then you get into the T, and the C gets to 58, and the T is a very low bounce, and it's a 58.6, where the C grind is a 58.8. And then you get back into the S grinds, and it's a 58.10, 12, and 14, just like before. So what it is the T and the C are low bounce with a lot of heel and toe removal, so you can open it up. And it's made for those folks that can actually go down and go get the ball, where the other one is made for, say, we'll call the average or better player, and the rest of us that basically don't get a lot of divoting. But I fully suspect this one's going to feel basically a tad softer, with the fact that there's a pocket behind the face to give it that little bit of softness. And when they put that pocket in there, what that means is it can drive the center of gravity up, which means you get a more controlling wedge. So it's a twofer. It's a twofer. All right. And we go back to this guy in the 150. This one still has the plastic on it. So of course it's got a little bit of weighting right here. It is a multi-piece forged club, and it is that hollow body want to do very, very well. So that's where we're at with that. So we'll see some of those videos coming. And hopefully be there. So builds. This one's new. This one's gonna get rated to the furthest I'm gonna have shipped anything, and it's this guy. Those are some lambkins in the UTX and the green corded, and then there's the set itself. These are Muro 1 or 001s. They're original blades, and these are going to Pakistan. All right, they're going to go to a player that's in Pakistan. Those have some KBS on them, and then they have the BB&F ferrules, and we should be good to go. So we got that. All righty. So did a fitting for, even when I got back, did a fitting for a police officer. Got him set up. It was funny. He got stronger as the session went on, and we found out a Mizuno club worked for him the best. So that was very cool. So anyway, that was Myrtle Beach in a nutshell. That was golf in a nutshell. There's a trip in a nutshell, and what we got new coming up in a nutshell. Oh, and I got one more. Peter sent me a text or an email, and let me make sure here. Yep. So Peter says, here are the fantastic results of the putting tips that I gave him on the visit. It's worthwhile to bring up in today's live session the importance of good posture and ball position in one's putting stroke. So Peter had a tall putter now that he had won at a tournament, and it was an Oz putter, that's what Adam Scott uses, and it is heavy. And what was happening was he had a very narrow stance, and what was happening is the weight was starting to was to taking over into the stance. He'd get out about this far, and everything would start waving. And I said, well, the putter's a bit long, and I said if you stand a little taller and widen your stance just ever so slightly, you get more stable. And when you get more stable, and when he makes putts that are not, when he does that, he rolls the ball very, very well. I was just getting him to naturally do that. So he sends me this, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birdies on here. He shoots a 34 and 31 for a 65. Absolutely slaying it. And, oh, come on, you. And where was he at? He was on a Nicholas course, the Copper, playing from the Copper tees. And looks to be about a 6,300-yard course. And so no bogeys on the card and nothing but 7 birdies. So, yeah, not bad, right? Did very, very well. So congratulations to Peter. All right, now that we got all that, let's go to the top and start talking to the folks. Jesse's number 1 today. Hello, Jim. Bob, sounds like you had a great time, and big hello to Robin. We did. We had a really good time. It's amazing what weather does when it's very conducive to that kind of stuff. Got home each night, jumped in the pool, jumped in the hot tub, jumped in the pool, went and got a bite to eat, rinse and repeat. It was all good. It was all good. And I will say that the ride back was actually very nice. It's only about an 8.5, 9-hour ride for us. So it means you got to stop somewhere. It's 8.5, you stop, it's a 9-hour ride. But we started off, we got out of there about 5 in the morning, and we rolled in around 2:30 with 2 stops. And the traffic was just phenomenal for us. Never got stuck. So it was a good time. John Cherry, greetings everyone. You guys had perfect weather here for your activities. Were you able to hit a couple of those restaurants? No, we walked right by them. John, we saw him, and he's like, oh, that's what John said. And we wanted to stop, but unfortunately, every time that we were driving by it, we had already ate. We had pizza from that Bentonali's or Bentonis, Bentonali's. Anyways, fire roasted, fire kilned pizza. That was delicious. Ate there. Ate at the Mad Gator. Ate at the Land Shark. What else did we do? But all the food was good. Worn out from your trip south? Yes, I had to go to work to rest. That was kind of what we're telling everybody. It was funny because after we got home, there sits the garage, and so I finished all the golf clubs. There were some repairs that had to get done. Those are ready to go. And then there sits this wide open garage, and Robin's like, well, what are we going to put in it? And I'm like, let's slow our roll just a little bit and figure it out because, you can fill up the garage. The next thing you know, we're not parking cars in there anymore. And so, but I got a shelf full of car care products. Robin bought some of these magnets for the back wall, which is all metal, and to hang stuff like weed whackers. The magnet's this big around. It's probably got like 100-pound pull on it. So that was worth it. But we cleaned off the back porch where all the stuff that was where the ball shed was, where all the things that we had in that area and we got rid of them. We put those in the garage. So we did put something in there. All righty. Matt, are you out there? We haven't seen him today, have we? Jesse, yes, we did. There you go. There's Stephen from Tennessee. Hope everyone's doing well. We are. Thank you so very much. There's Lawrence. What do you say, sir? Rob and John, next time, the better weather, it's the best weather we have down there, and those we didn't get to, so we're definitely next time. That's for sure. Hi, Charlie. Yes, we were tired Friday, but back at it Saturday and Sunday. Yep, we got going. Oh, I didn't get to show you barbecue. So I barbecued some chicken, and we got some monster chicken breasts, and and we made some chicken braid with half of them and barbecued the other two. So we got stuff for lunches for the next couple of days. There goes Mrs. McGolf through the door. All right, Emmanuel, what do you say, buddy? Hello, the rest of the McGolf guys here golfing tomorrow for the first time in a while. Put Mizuno T1 Blue SV grinds. Put in. Oh, looking forward to interesting wedge play. That's a lot of grinds there, dude. The T1s, yes. The V, the S is obviously standard. The V is the one that's got a very narrow sole. The X I can't remember. Hopefully it works out, man. Saying hi, Steven. Hello, Lawrence. Robin, I see the window. I see the back window is Charlie. Yep. There's Krister. How are you, sir? It was funny. So, Krister, I got one for you. We went to this Angus restaurant where we were stopping for dinner after the Dolphins, and this fella come up and had a bit of a different accent, and Bob asked him where he was from, and he said Sweden. I said, really? I almost pulled up your channel just to show him to see, but we let that one go and had dinner on her. Had dinner. That was neat. Not every day you run up on anybody that says they're from Sweden. How do you determine shift? Okay, John Timmons, how do you determine shift, flex, weight, and kick point? Hope all is well. Well, the easiest way, John, to not being a turd is it's through the fitting. So, Charlie, I forgot to. So, Glenn's Creek Stave and Barrel. There we go, Glenn's Creek Stave and Barrel. Matter of fact, I got it right here. There it is. The guy that made it actually signed the bottle. So how do we determine that stuff? So there's a couple of things that play into it, John. Number one is the basis of all this is swing speed. Now, there's way more to finding shaft flex than just swing speed. It's not how fast you swing it, it's how you swing it fast. And so you can be somebody that swings 80 mile an hour and just brings it back like they're mad at the world and chops right back down on it like they're trying to kill a snake. And that person may very well need something in the very high end of the stiff range, right? That's 2 solid flexes up. Now, keeping on that idea, because the person has a massively aggressive swing, what the whole idea here is being able to find the club in the backswing and bringing it down. The more aggressive a person is, the heavier the golf shaft a person would like. That's just those are the kinds of things. Pardon me. And just the opposite is true. You could have a guy swinging at 110, which is the top end of step flex, bottom of the X, and be just maple syrupy smooth, and just not loading it one iota, not loading it at all, and could very well like something at the very top of the regular range or the bottom of the stiff range. It just because they're not loading it, you don't need all that flex. Now the opposite again is true, is because they're so smooth, right, that a lighter club feels better to them, because when they get up in here and they're heavy and it's all about rhythm and routine, they get up in here and boom, it goes like that. So that's where you can get in, picking it out. Now, those are not absolutes, but those are really good beginning. Kick point, I really don't pay too much attention to. You say, oh, it makes it go higher and go lower. And the answer is yes, but to such a small degree. It's one of all the weights and the flexes, and now profile is right after all that, and kick point is way down towards the bottom. All right, here we got that, we got that. John saying hi to Robin. The photos he's showing is clear. Well, hopefully we got back. Krister, what's in the bag? Oh, you beat me to it. Nothing new. Uh-oh. No 7.5 degree driver. Yep, this is all about where that lighting goes. Isn't lighting just something else? No, he has the Max LS, which he doesn't like. Really? Callaway Max LS, which you don't like. The X2 Hot was way better. Maybe I'll buy a new one this season. There you go. All righty. There's Peter. Shot that 65 with a disappointing rounds of 75 and 74. I would not say those are disappointing at all based on the scores I shoot. But it is kind of one of those, you just smoked a really good drive and then turn around and duff an iron. That's kind of that idea. Charlie, he's looking at new wedges. Won't buy until the season's over, thinking of the CB or CBZ or RTZ. Krister, if I was you, I would be looking at the RTZ. I would stay away from the other one. Golf Addict, he's back. How you doing, man? Everybody's coming back today. Very cool. All right, what'd Krister do? He played in a 3-team scramble, finished 14th place out of 32 teams, shot 10 net. The winner was 17. Not bad. So we had at the other work, they had a golf scramble, and all the proceeds went to local charities in the surrounding counties. And I was on the way back from Myrtle Beach when this was on. But the winning team shot minus 19. And you thought, oh, here we go, some sandbaggers. Well, and I called him a sandbagger anyway, but they had two guys. One guy on the team was 67 years old, an ex-PGA pro that works there now. And because he was over 60, they let him go all the way to the front. And this guy hits it so far he can still compete with the younger folks. So everything he hit, it was driver wedge. And there were some cases he didn't even need to hit the driver. So it was crazy. They eagled every par 5. And they shot a 3 on everything else, which means they parred a few par 3s and then birdied basically every par 4. And I was asking around about it, and the guy was on fire. He was making putts from everywhere. Charlie says, Peter, 65 is phenomenal and the 70s are excellent. Yes. Yeah. Well, I've got him back here. I've got him on both corners, man. There we go. Dolphins, Jim, did you go looking for dolphins? Look on your chest. Well, I didn't quite get to that one, but these dolphins were pretty cool. Got everybody excited. The neat part about it was the guy that was shrimping when they brought up the nets, they caught all kinds of different species of fish, and the guy in the back was educating everybody on what a rainbow fish or they even had a stingray and a little baby shark and all that stuff. So it was kind of cool. All right, there we go. Well, what in the heck just happened there? Let me go back. There it is. Charlie didn't want to go, but he agreed, ended up having a good time. That's true. Did you use your own putter or the one they supplied? Oh, we used theirs. Yeah. We used theirs. It was just part of the racket, and hell, Bob was putting very good with it too. Manuel says great rounds to Peter, and they were. Jim has a new man cave. Well, that one's not going to be the new man cave, but we already have a garage that got filled up long before that we could do anything with it. It held all their range equipment. So it had the ball picker, the golf carts, the lawn mowers, that kind of stuff. And we're slowly but surely emptying it out. And that has a lot of potential from the man cave. It's over the barn. That's right. Charles, lower rounds are due to Jim's giving me the 2-key putting strip. Yeah, you ought to see this. We got into this rhythm of how I kept my cool and didn't let the wheels fall off. It was Bob would say, "Okay, just do, don't think," and then I would end up like finish like Peter. Peter has one very, very smooth finish. John Lamb says, "Hi, all Myrtle Beach. Now I'm a tad jealous. Had some great rounds down there. Bucket list is the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. You know, I'd like to do that one too, but we're on a how is it? The requirement when we go on vacation. There's only 2 requirements. One is that there's got to be golf somewhere around there, and the other half is that it's got to be near the water, and so that kind of limits where we can go." We got him to Pinehurst once, but that didn't have water, so I don't know if we're allowed to go again. Lawrence says the Apex look nice. They do, Lawrence. They really do. These things are, these are eye-catching, actually. They're just eye-catching. They just, the bag appeal for this thing is just crazy nice. There we go. There we go. How about that action? Woohoo. And just a hint of offset that would make these guys playable for a lot of people. All righty. Charlie says, a man with 33 holes in one doesn't need putting tips. Well, yeah, the way he was stroking it, man. Efren, what do you say, bud? There's my buddy at Advanced Dynamic Golf Center. Hola from Arizona. How are you, Robin, doing anything new? Well, just like I've been showing them, Efren, the Callaway, the 150 has been out for a while, but for lefties, not so much. That the SP wedge from the Opus is new, and I've got got Mizuno and I got Srixon coming, so we'll see what happens after that. Oh, I knew. Oh, and I got word that Graphite Design's coming out with a new driver shaft. I just don't know much about it. John Lamb, always been curious, does the shaft adapter change the kick point on the shaft of the Flex a wee bit as it's not inserted all the way into the head as it used to be? Well, John, no. So the kick point, as far as when you're talking about getting it changed, a lot of it is weight oriented. If you look at the shaft actually and the adapter inserts that same amount, okay? That same amount. I wish I had something. Hold on. No, I don't have that. Anyway, the shaft adapters are that same length, so you get that same insertion depth. And if you look at the golf clubs themselves, there we go. We'll use Wilson as an example, and this is their Max driver. This is actually a pretty nice little driver. I'm going to clean it up for you. Nice little driver. You can see my light shining in it. But anyway, what you have here is you see see how that opening is so big to receive that. You see how far down that goes? That goes in there all the way to here, right? All the way into here, which if you had all this together, that's probably how far that it would go into the club normally. Now, you could have some that are, that are going a little deeper and hold on to it a little bit more, i.e. maybe a Titleist back in the day, the bonded clubs, just like you're asking. But as a whole, no, not anymore. All righty. Don't take long to recover. Way too much good food and drink down there. You are absolutely 100% correct. You could stay busy and run yourself ragged down there for as long as it takes. We did eat good. Hardest part was getting up early in the morning. The funny part about that, so here's that, right? So we had early morning tee times in that 7:30. We're only half an hour away max. So, I get up about 6 to get out the door at 7 so we can be there on time. And all these cases, right? Oh, here we go. I'm going to sneeze. And that just stopped me right there. I got all kinds of. Anyway, so I ended up waking. I don't think I woke up to the alarm ever. I woke up early because that's my nature. And then I get home and I want to sleep in. And I want to sleep in. First day to go to work was the first day that I got woke up to the alarm. I was like, oh, man. Talk about getting dragged. All right. Rob and I know that one. Just did 12 hours in the caddy from Winnipeg to Calgary. I think my butt's starting to get feeling back into it. No kidding, right? That 8 hours, I'm glad that we stopped a couple of times because it was just about right, just enough to keep that feeling in your backside. Phil K from Austin, golf weather is starting to look perfect. Good. You're getting towards the end of the beginning of your golf season into most everybody else's. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, how's the scorpion sting? The sting stopped hurting right about when I started drinking with Big Larry, a large margarita with Grand Marnier float. Well, it probably killed that poison that was in there, right? All righty. There we go. Deuce 2112. I just started practicing putting standing taller and spreading my feet a little further apart, and it feels really good. Yeah, you don't have to go crazy with that, and basically, people will tend to, what happened here? It did move, and I just started like this. How does it pick that up? Anyway, the putting, there we go. Putting, people, they get their feet so close together. And I watched these guys that come in here, 6'6", and the guy's bent over and his back is at a 90 degree from his legs. I'm like, why are you doing that? And he says, well, I just feel better when I get closer. And I go, like, how about if I let you stand tall as you doggone well want to and you putt better? He goes, really? And I said, well, yeah, sure, why not? And so you have to get a longer putter, obviously, and we get him into those 38-inch putters, those belly-type putters, those things, and all of a sudden he's using muscles he hasn't used before, but his back isn't killing him. And and the idea of being, well, however you do it, the idea of being stable is really, really the way to go. Matthew O'Malley, what do you say? Hey, they're saying Acra Green Shaft is a combination of True Temper Gold and Project X. What do you think? That's what they tell me. And if you look at it, it's kind of stepped on one end and it's rifled on the other. So I'd have to, and that's what they told me when they introduced it, and I would have to agree. There's Deuce saying hello. Charlie, I think Wilson is coming out with new blades and cavity backs. They've lowered their prices on existing ones. Charlie, that would be my guess because they're on their. That's the cycle. The ones that need to be replaced this year are the Dynapower forged and the two forged product, the blade and the cavity back. I would like to see that. Besides, Stave and Barrel, right, made at Glenn's Creek, which was the original Old Crow factory. The original Old Crow factory, and this is 101.8. This is not too bad. What they do with this particular one is they leave the last few gallons in the bottom of the barrel, let it set, and let the floaties get out, and then they hand pump it out. So this has got a little bit more in it. Yeah. I can't believe it just showed up out of nowhere. You was taught years ago that he should just jump up, and where your land feet is approximately the distance apart your feet, and it works as a great starting point. You know what? That's not a bad idea. If you wanted to, and normally what that is, that's a reaction that you it's a reaction that you're going to want to, you don't want to come down, wobbly. You want to come down stable, and your feet typically come shoulder width apart. And that's really the drill for it. That's where we're at. All right. So look at that. We got done all the way down. We don't have Matt here to take up the next 10 minutes or ask us a question. So anyway, that's where we're at. Any of you guys get the opportunity to go to Myrtle Beach, I would highly recommend it. You could go there, several years in a row and never get to all the golf courses that are available down there. And they're of every shape and form. In fact, ones that weren't very good when we first started this trip apparently are very good now. So evolution's a thing for golf. And they've got a couple of PGA Tour superstores down there for getting golf balls or accessories or even a new golf club while you're down there. And there's still plenty to do, right? There's plenty of things to go see that are not golf related. There's still plenty of things. They have the boardwalk. They have that you can go north or south if you like a little bit more country-like. You can get down to the low country, which is the plantation stuff. If you're wanting to be into more hilly or more woody type stuff, you can go north, and it's all good. I will say that building the Mura 001s, once we put the shafts in it, what we talk about in the video, there's some good tips in the video about what to look for when people send you things to build. And this one was no different. And you'll get to see that when we go to put that through. And then we'll be testing these 150s pretty good. And I got to get back into the garage and start cleaning some stuff up. That's where we're at with that one. And, man, I'm glad to get back to work so I can rest. So again, guys, a couple of things. We're going to end this one early for the first time in a while. Again, thank you guys for getting on here and talking with me. Wait a minute. We got something here. We got a couple of things. Jared Jones, you inspired me to pull out my Glens Creek stave and barrel in OCD 5. Well, there you go. Never had I've taste tested the 5, Jared, and everybody loves it. It just doesn't fit my palate, but I should get it. Yeah, you landed in a balanced position, so it works. That's right. That's exactly correct. We'll let you go early. You still have to recovery stages of your trip. You're absolutely correct there. She says, thanks for all joining. Please hit that thumbs up before you go. Here we go. He knows what it is. Krister says the Tour AD FI, the new graphite design, and it's a very, 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 very stable club. That's the kind you need to be hitting right there, Krister. That club. That is probably one of the beefiest clubs, and you can get it at any weight you want. Probably you hit it with a stiff flex and just absolutely destroy it. That'd be the way to go. All right, so we found some more. Glad I got to see Jared's comment in there before I got off. Again, guys, thanks a lot. Watch for the video. I will be releasing it probably midweek. And as always, don't forget, if you guys like what you're seeing, like and subscribe. And again, we also have the Pars and Pars channel, and go over there and visit that if you would, and like and subscribe on that guy. And again, as always, let's see your scores go low.